James Kaufman, World News Report today, July 29th, 2025. God bless you and yours, no matter where you are in the world. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell for critical future updates. Ladies and gentlemen, we've had a very strong earthquake just south of Tasmania, really just south of Zealandia, the island rising up, or the continent rising up from the sea. The Australians, who are right there on top of the situation, are calling this a 7.1 magnitude earthquake, as you will soon see. The USGS is calling this a 6.9. It is, again, just south of Tasmania and just south of Zealandia, rising. It came in at 31 kilometers of depth. It came in only as a 2 on the DYFI, as no one lives in this area, and there was an associated tsunami warning with this large earthquake. We've had 7 strong aftershocks, mostly in the 5.0 magnitude area after this initial earthquake. We're going to get some detailed information right now about this quake. Now, this quake and swarm occurred right on the plate tectonic boundary that we saw a large earthquake occur on just a few days ago. And this is right where a plate is still forming. You can see in black here. So that is what's going on here, and this is Zealandia rising. We'll take a look at that in just one moment. Here we have a 6.0 and a 7.1. Taking a look at the 7.1, main source is the Australians. They have it at a default depth of 10 kilometers. We also have the French coming in at a 6.4 and Raspberry Shake at a 6.6. They're all over the place here. The other quake right there on top of it is a 6.0 main source, Australia. We have the Germans coming in at a 6.1 and the Europeans coming in at a 5.8. Again, all of these are at the default depth of 10 kilometers. Now, if I open this up, we're going to see that we've had a ton of quakes in that area. They say that there's been 7 aftershocks. I think that there might have been more than that. I think they're only measuring 4.0s and higher in this area. Let's get some detailed information on the 2 largest quakes in the swarm, the 6.9 or 7.1 and the 6.0 earthquake. All right, the quake of the day, the 7.1. 351 kilometers south of Tasmania. Taking a look at some earthquake details here, we have a 7.1 magnitude earthquake. Main source, the Australians. It looks like it released 42.1 atomic bombs worth of energy. So this was some earthquake, although basically in the middle of nowhere. Comparing earthquake data from different reporting agencies, starting off with the Australians at a 7.1, default depth 10 kilometers, followed by a 6.4 from the French, 10 kilometers default depth. Raspberry Shake came in at a 6.6, also the default depth. The Germans came in at 6.9, also the default depth. We have the USGS coming in at 31 kilometers of depth, a 6.9 magnitude earthquake. The Incorporated Research Institute for Seismology at 6.9, also 31 kilometers of depth. It's like they piggybacked the USGS. Next, we have the Italians coming in at 6.8, 15 kilometers in depth. And finally, the Europeans coming in at 6.9, 31 kilometers of depth, basically piggybacking the USGS as usual. So we have well, a lot of different readings, the highest being from the folks in the area on the spot. The Australians coming in at 7.1. Most of the agencies came in at 6.9. I would say that was a good consensus. All right, taking a look at the strongest of the aftershocks at 6.0 in that same area right there, where that plate tectonic boundary is still trying to form. Here we also have the Australians as the primary data source, a 6.0 magnitude earthquake, 0.9 atomic bombs worth of energy released. All right, comparing quake data from different reporting agencies, starting off with the Australians coming in at a 6.0 default depth 10 kilometers. The Germans a 6.1 default depth 10 kilometers. The Europeans a 6.0 default depth 10 kilometers. Raspberry Shake came in at a 6.1. Seems to be about the consensus. The USGS undershot that quite a bit, coming in at a 5.8 with a default depth of 10 kilometers. And the Incorporated Research Institute for Seismology also came in at a 5.8, probably piggybacking the USGS. All right, the 6.9, 7.1 quake had a tsunami warning. I thought we would check the National Data Buoy Center for any buoys in event mode, and we see nothing occurring down there. We're going to now discuss Zealandia, the continent rising here, because, hey, that's exactly where all this action's happening. Taking a look at Zealandia, the 8th continent, the lost continent, we can see that New Zealand's right here in the middle. New Caledonia is here. Fiji and Tonga are up here. Papua New Guinea is in this area here. This is Australia. And most of our action, this is Tasmania, is happening on this plate tectonic boundary right here. And you can see that it, well, is a big part of what's coming out of the sea here. This could take thousands of years. It could take hundreds of years. We have no way of knowing. We've seen plates form over just 12 months, so we just don't know. But a lot of this is this plate forming or finishing its formation, and that's exactly what we see. The earthquakes right there at the end of the plate tectonic boundary where it's still forming. Now, I think Zealandia covers most all of this area here, but you can also see the black outline here. Others, including New Zealand, believe that this is more of what the continent covers, and they're actually trying to do a land grab, i.e. calling this their continental shelf currently, although they're not a continent, so I don't know how they would have a continental shelf. Again, the 8th continent. All right, taking a look at the planets today, we have given y'all some dates to remember. Tomorrow, the 30th and 31st being two of them, but you know, we have so many geomagnetic connections to so many different planets that earthquakes and an uptick in volcanic activity are in play all the time. I can't believe we're not seeing more solar activity. Currently, Earth has a geomagnetic connection to Mercury, Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, and Eris. Unbelievable, and it's just going to be moving even more into place. Let's see. If we move forward, we're going to see a lineup with the moon behind Earth, Saturn and Neptune here, and also a lineup for the 31st, Earth, Mercury, and the Sun. So the 30th and 31st, one of the dates we're looking at. The 8th and 9th, another date we're looking at seriously. And I believe it's the 15th and 21st. But we will get back to you on those dates as we get closer to them. In summary, it looks like we've had a 7.1 magnitude earthquake downgraded only by the USGS to a 6.9. It also appears we had an aftershock of between a 6.0 and a 6.1 directly thereafter. And that's going to be just on the tip of Zealandia, here rising, and on that plate tectonic boundary. There's, formation hasn't quite finished in this area here. God bless you and yours, folks. Stay safe out there. It's going to get even bumpier as Earth moves through this side of our solar system and we get the large gas giants behind us with Earth between the sun and the gas giants. Share, subscribe, and always remember that anything's possible in Bizarro World.